Most of the advice out there will tell you that jealousy is caused by insecurity or even that it's toxic. But that's not the full story. In many cases, in fact, it may be completely untrue. In this video, I'm going to break down what's actually happening beneath the surface and why understanding the actual roots of jealousy can make it a lot easier to deal with it in yourself and your partner. So here's an example. Mark and Anna just started dating. They click, have a lot of fun, and their sexual chemistry is great. After about a month, they have a talk about their relationship. They both agree that they'd like to be an item and make things official. Mark is very excited until Anna says, almost as a side note, that she was seeing someone else when she first met Mark, but that she recently broke it off. So Mark can't help feeling the sting of jealousy. You're seeing someone else? Recently? Until when? Did you sleep with him when you and I went out? And Anna explains, yes, she did sleep with him the first couple weeks her and Mark dated, but that she had decided that she didn't want to do it anymore since she was serious about Mark. I chose you, she tells Mark, in order to make it clear to him how she feels. But now Mark's feelings are really hurt, and Anna doesn't seem to understand why. This is an extremely common situation for relationships in this day and age, and is oftentimes a breaking point. If you ask therapists, here's what most of them will tell you. Anna was being honest with Mark, but Mark has been conditioned by society to want to control women's behavior, especially their sexual behavior. Mark is being jealous. That is caused by insecurity. We don't know exactly why. It could be a weak attachment style, societal programming, or maybe some early childhood experience or role model. Bottom line is, Mark's behavior is unacceptable in the modern world, and Anna is really just trying to be honest and transparent. But he responds with frustration and unhealthy anger. In fact, the only positive aspect of Mark's emotions is that he's expressing them. But these specific emotions are toxic, so the goal is to get rid of them. This is all wrong. Sexual jealousy is a personality trait which can be inherited. And the reason Mark has it is that in the distant past, some people didn't have it and others did. The ones who did have it had more genetic offspring, and they inherited that trait. The ones who weren't sexually jealous ended up raising other people's offspring, and their genes, and therefore also the trait, weren't passed on. That's why the majority of men today experience some degree of sexual jealousy. Does that mean it's good or conducive for building a solid relationship? No, but it does mean that it is 100% natural for Mark to have this feeling. It also means that there's nothing pathological or wrong with him for feeling that way. And most importantly, it also means that judging him for simply having these feelings is not only cruel, it's also gaslighting. You're telling him a story about why he feels like he does that isn't true. And you present evidence from outside sources, therapists, blogs, websites, Instagram psychologists, who all say the same thing. That is, this is toxic masculinity. It is insecurity. He wants to control you. He has double standards. Get the hell away from him. Almost none of this is factually true. It is in fact gaslighting on a mass scale. This is where I'm going to ask you to subscribe. I publish videos twice a week about evolutionary relationship psychology, and I need all the help I can get. Thank you. So it is true that Anna was being honest by telling Mark about her old fling. But because she doesn't know about evolutionary psychology, she doesn't understand his reaction. But the onus isn't just on Anna. Mark also needs to understand why he feels the way he does. No, it's not because she has bad values or because she's promiscuous or that it's her personality and that you can't trust her. She's a human being just like you, for Christ's sake. And I see all the time how people misunderstand these types of situations. So because the emotions men experience in these situations are so strong, so intense, we look for explanations. But when we ask Google or our AI companions, they almost exclusively tell us false explanations that describe this as insecurity or outdated sexual norms or toxic masculinity. But that's not fair. And guys intuitively know that it's not true. So they look for other explanations. And this is where many people on the internet will offer other false explanations saying things like, she's immoral, she doesn't have good values. So sexual jealousy can go too far. Here's an example of that. I recently read a Reddit post about a girl who was in a situation just like this. So she worked as a tattoo artist, and about a month into a new relationship with this guy, he started being really upset that she was touching other guys when she was in a relationship with him. This is where I would have to side with her. Having the emotion that, yes, it would be nice if she didn't touch other guys might be natural. But you knew she was a tattoo artist when you met her, right? And you know she's not actually having sex with her clients. You also just have to live in the real world. Now, this guy actually understood why he had these emotions. He might actually be able to catch himself in the act and control himself. The problem is that the second we have a strong emotion, our mind starts making up a story that explains why we have the emotion. Typically, that has nothing to do with reality. It's just a story we're making up. Studies of split-brain patients have really hammered this point home. So no, you don't feel this way because she's untrustworthy or her body count is too high or because she has a weak character. You feel like that because your very nature compels you to do so. I've experienced this myself, and I had to keep reminding myself that this feeling is 100% natural. It is 100% explained by evolution. There is nothing unnatural about it. It's not caused by the patriarchy or some other social constructionist theory, and it's not something I need to be cured of. It is, of course, something I have to deal with. In this day and age, any potential partner you run into has a sexual past, so you can't let your life be dictated by these feelings. The question is, of course, can you handle it? For me, these types of emotions become much easier to handle when I understand that A, I understand where they come from, their origins, and B, my partner also understands why I feel like I do. That means I'm not judging her, I'm just being human. Here's what's been really helpful to me. The reason you have these feelings, the reason I have these feelings is they are trying to protect you. These emotions don't want me to raise another man's offspring, spending all my resources raising someone else's genetic footprint. Or plain and simple, they don't want me to get hurt. So the emotion is my friend. And now that I understand that, I can make an informed choice. What do I actually want? Do I want to be in a relationship with Anna? Would I want to be in a relationship with her if it wasn't for that hurtful anecdote she just told me? If the answer is yes, at this point you have to just figure out how you can deal with this fact, knowing that there's nothing wrong with her character, that your feelings are 100% natural, and that there's nothing wrong with you for having them. Another very important takeaway here is that it is absolutely crucial that you're not being judgmental about other people's feelings. No healing or coping in a relationship can take place if you're being judged by the person you're engaging with, whether that's your therapist, your friend, or indeed your partner. Also, understanding where these feelings come from can actually inform your relationship moving forward. For example, the conversation between Mark and Anna in the beginning of this video should have never taken place in the first place. What purpose does it serve? I think we all have that itch. We want to know everything about our potential partner, but that's a trap, ironically also created by evolution. But we have to remember that just because it's natural doesn't mean that you need to allow it to ruin your life. So you shouldn't judge your feelings of jealousy, and neither should anyone else. But you do need to manage them in order to lead a happy life in the modern world. The goal isn't to erase the feeling, it is to understand it, manage it, and decide what kind of partner you want to be in spite of it. So the next time you're overwhelmed by this feeling, just remember this. It's not proof that there's anything wrong with you or your partner. It's just biology trying to protect you. This insight gives you the freedom to choose what you want to do in your life. Finally, I want to invite you to join Heart Love Theory over on School. It's completely free, and this is where I share some of the thoughts that are just a little too spicy for the general public. My goal is to empower people to have great relationships, and I do that mainly by focusing on evolutionary psychology. If this sounds like something for you, please click the link below, and I'll see you there. Thanks for listening. Until next time, cheers.